Speaker. It's always a pleasure to speak in the House on behalf of the Scottish National Party. The Telecommunications is a reserved power, and we've continued to engage constructively in the process of refining this bill from our side of the opposition benches. As I previously highlighted in the Chamber, it is for the UK Government to ensure that our digital infrastructure is appropriately protected and managed. It's a key component of Scotland's future economic success and our position as a global leader in technology. Never has the importance of digital connectivity been more sharply brought into relief than during the ongoing pandemic. The fact that I am delivering a parliamentary speech from my own home is evidence of this necessity. On that note, I'd like to reiterate that the SNP supports the general aims of the bill and wants to see it successfully implemented with the appropriate amendments. I read with interest amendments recently debated in the Lords relating to the bill. Although the first amendment in the name of Lord Alton was withdrawn, I do not want to pass over it without quick comment. The purpose of the amendment was to prevent companies from using UK telecommunications infrastructure to facilitate human rights abuses. This amendment obviously wasn't an accusation against Virgin Media or BT or others of some nefarious motives in allowing us to watch Netflix at home. Rather, it touches on the recurring theme of this bill, our concern with the expanding tech influence of the Chinese government. I won't go over the debate, the surrounding amendment in detail, as members can read it on Hansard. I would say, however, that although the amendment was withdrawn, let us keep the spirit of it in mind, that as the world becomes interconnected to an unprecedented degree, we must be vigilant of how our technology can inadvertently support abuses taking place elsewhere. Let us also take Lord Alton's amendment as a worthy attempt at trying to draw more attention to the increasingly disturbing evidence emerging from China regarding human rights abuses. However, Madam Deputy Speaker, not wishing to digress too far, I will turn my attention to Baroness Barron's amendment relating to uncompetitive behaviour and the review of the bill's impact on the Electronic Communications Code. The Scottish National Party broadly welcomes the principle of the amendment that sufficient measures should be introduced to ensure residents in multi-dwelling accommodation can access connectivity from the providers of their choice. Infrastructure provided by one supplier should not prevent a subsequent provider from installing their own service within the same building. Concerns were raised in the Lords regarding the necessity of the amendment, but given that 10 million people could be affected by this legislation, there's no harm in taking a comprehensive approach. 76% of multi-dwelling units missed out on the initial efforts to deploy fibre because of problems in gaining access. So it should be self-evident to everyone in the Chamber that we must improve access and consumer choice. But let's not pretend previous amendments have created a perfect bill. Industry experts have raised concerns that this legislation doesn't go far enough in providing flexibility for network operators. BT in particular are concerned that the bar set for a landlord to be classified as engaging with a network builder and therefore not subject to the bill's provisions is set far too low. Likewise, Virgin Media are seeking further clarity over the definition of meaningful response in relation to landlords' communication with operators. Questions have also been raised by operators about the balance the government is seeking to create between the rights of landowners and telecom operators. What does this mean in practical terms? Why would affording an operator the right to ask a court to grant them access, independent of a tenant request, be against the public interest, especially if it ensured that tenants were given access to digital connectivity that may not have previously existed? As the Minister will be aware, many utilities already have the right, with appropriate safeguards, to enter the properties in order to maintain infrastructure. So does the Government agree with the future telecoms infrastructure review if recommendations that telecoms operator right of entry should be brought into line with other utilities? And of course, it should be reviewed as per Amendment 3. If we are to achieve continual, irreversible improvement, the process must remain open to review. The bill is now at such a late stage that I suspect some operators have effectively given up on seeing it reformed further, and they're merely accepting legislation that doesn't meet its full potential. Clearly, operators welcome this progress, but the industry is asking for greater clarity and engagement. It's unfortunate that the operators are still asking for the government to confirm basic definitions in legislation that is on the brink of becoming law. They will now look ahead, undoubtedly, the consultation and changes to the Electronic Communications Code as a primary way to build upon the improvements that will come with this bill. So finally, Madam Deputy Speaker, as the government moves ahead with the legislation and then the review, it's vital that they consult more closely with relevant actors in the sector. After all, the telecom operators are the only ones with the practical knowledge to make a success of the government's long-term ambitions for digital connectivity. Thank you.
Number 5 is withdrawn, so we go to video link to Jamie.